All right. So you done?
All right. What's up, everybody? It is Friday, August 17th, and we are live with another episode of Crypto Dog Pound Presents Off the Chain, episode 3. Let's go. So today we got everybody. We got special guests today. Special guests today, everybody. So along with the regulars, we got Clay. We got Blues. We got me, myself, Blockchain Dame. I'll be your host. We got Satoshi Wolf. We got Trader Man, who's joining a little bit later today. And then we got the Shill Nye. Not Bill Nye, the science guy, even though I did like that shit back in the day. But we got Shill Nye, the crypto guy in this motherfucker today. So yeah, everybody give it up for that. So we locked and loaded. Yes, sir. So today, the price of Bitcoin right now, we are looking at what? We're looking at around Ethereum is at what? 315. We got Bitcoin hanging out around let me mute myself real quick. There we go. We got Bitcoin hanging out around what's the price of Bitcoin right now, guys? Help me out.
6,537.
6580. Okay, 6581. Okay, that's nice. We went through some shit earlier this week, but now we bounced back a little bit. Alts bouncing around and all that stuff. But we're gonna get into that a little bit later. Just for some show notes. So expect today we're gonna talk about the Toshi and Coinbase wallet deal, and we're going to talk about what's some of our favorite wallets. We're going to talk about the big Ethereum retrace that's been going on. Ethereum has been going down to the shits lately, guys. So we want to talk about Ethereum. We want to talk about that and some of its competitors. And then we got Trader Main, Clay, and Blues. They're going to give a little bit of a alt outlook, Bitcoin outlook. We got they always give good input on that. And then we got Wolf and ShillNye. They're gonna, Wolf is gonna ask ShillNye what's been going on in his space lately and what he's been doing in the crypto game. And yeah, man, we just gonna keep it going like that. So the tequila is poured up. The dogs are off the leash. You know what I'm saying? I'm sipping on that bear market tequila right now. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin, I need you to go up so I could get back on that Patron and that Don Julio. But anyway, let's get back to it. All right. So first things first. So Toshi goes native to become Coinbase's wallet. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know much about Toshi, but I've heard about it based on what I've been reading or the short read that I did right before the show. It's a wallet that supports Ethereum, ERC20, and then sooner or later it's gonna do Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin, and some other ones. So I guess they're teaming up with Coinbase, and that's a power move for them to make it the official wallet of Coinbase and whoever Coinbase users, blah, blah, blah. So what I want to get at with you guys is, we all talk about best practices, right? We talk about what you should do and not do with the security of your coins. And of course, people talk about not storing them on exchanges and keep them in a secure wallet. Some people like hardware wallets, Ledger, and all of that stuff, Trezor. So I just want to talk about what some of your favorite methods of storing your coins, whether that's hardware, one of these soft wallets online. But me personally, I like Bread Wallet. I like Bread Wallet. It's been around for a while, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of years. And I like it because I mean, it has a nice GUI. I mean, it's straightforward and simple. It's if you use it right, you can even use it as an offline cold storage wallet. Because I mean, if you store your key, if you keep up with your key, you can download it, store your stuff, and you can even delete it off your phone. But as long as you have your key, you can reinstall it whenever you want to, and boom, you got everything back. So that's one of my favorite wallets, and that's where I tend to keep most of my stuff. They just added Bitcoin Cash support, Ethereum support, and ERC20 and all of that stuff not too long ago. So that's one of my preferred things wallets that I use. But let's get some input from some of you guys. What's some of y'all's favorite wallet?
Well, for me personally, man,
go down the line.
Yeah, or I'll just start it off real quick. Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's ShillNye. And yeah, my favorite wallet, man, I think it just depends on what I'm using things for. Right now, the compatibility with ERC20 tokens, I mostly use my Trezor or my Ledger. You know, I got multiple of each, and just throw things on there. But I do have to give a shout out to my new most convenient favorite wallet. They so everybody knows before I share it, they are a client of mine with my marketing company, but they're like a really cool project that I like. It's called Cool Wallet. And pretty much it's a ledger or a Trezor that is as thin as your credit card, bendable, pretty much unbreakable, completely waterproof, and you can press a little button on the screen that shows all of your balances. It's like a digital button literally on the screen of the card. Hella cool shit, very secure. Shout out to them. That's one of my favorites.
Okay. So what about you, Blues? What's one of your favorite wallets right now?
Yeah, I myself, I prefer to use hardware wallets, like
Okay.
for cold storage. Like I have Ledger, I have multiple ledgers, I have 2 ledgers, and for some coins you don't have, they aren't compatible with the ledger. So I use the native wallets. But for mobile wallets, I use Coinomi. I think it's pretty well known. It's
Coinami,
pretty
okay.
secure. Yeah, it's pretty secure since the keys and the seed isn't stored, and you just keep it. If you have your seed, you can recover your wallet whenever you want. So it's pretty secure
Okay.
from that way.
All right,
Actually,
cool. So
I'm more interested in credit cards. You can with you can spend crypto. Oh, yeah.
yeah, I'm more excited for those too. I don't think many of them have came to the US yet, but I did. What was the name of the one that you mentioned, Shilna? The one that you just said that's
I
like a
think it's
card.
cool wallet.
It's called Cool Wallet. It doesn't have the credit
Cool
card
wallet.
function, but yeah, it doesn't have the credit card functionability. Like it's not like an actual credit card, but it's like a
Mhm.
cold storage device. Jesus. And yeah, it's just as secure as a ledger, as a Trezor. Just way more easy and compatible to use. You don't have to be on a secure Wi-Fi to plug it in and things like that. It connects to a mobile app on your phone via Bluetooth, and they guarantee government level security is backed up into it. And that's the one that I use the most specifically for like when I'm out on the road and I'm traveling. I just pull that out and I need to sell a little Bitcoin to pay some bills or to pay for my next place. I can do it very simply and very easily.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So I got a
Yeah.
good question for everybody on that. So we all talk about wallets. We all talk about offline storage. We all talk about, being secure, right? Well, we all know that in the crypto space, it's something called the blockchain. And whenever you are moving coins around and whenever, you want to move to certain exchanges or whatever like that, we know it's not instant and it takes time, depending on what coin you're trying to move around. So what advice do you guys have for somebody who's like, well, look, I know security is a big thing, and I know that I need to keep my coins in a secure place. But I'm a day trader. I need to move coins around quick. I need to buy, sell quick. I need to move it to this exchange. I like to do arbitrage trading or whatever. And like what advice do you guys have for people who are more like short term based traders with that? Like what
I think you need to
tactics would
put
you
it
say?
into. I mean, the way I do it is that you obviously have your different portfolios, right? So, I mean, I use a ledger to store all my stuff. I mean, anything that I'm day trading with, I will have on exchanges, the bigger exchanges, Finance, Bittrex, that sort of stuff. But I don't keep anything on there that I'm holding mid to long term. With smaller exchanges, somebody posted this on my Twitter last night. With smaller exchanges, it's in and out. It's literally like if I want to pick up a coin, I transfer in, I buy it, I transfer straight out. If I am accumulating on that exchange, again, I have to have that mindset that I'm willing to lose the coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you need to just split it up. Anything long term, keep in your ledger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also got to realize, like,
anybody else have any input on that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to realize, like, also, like, a lot of people don't have this problem, and it's really not an issue for a lot of people. Like if you're following, I don't remember exactly who it was, but somebody made a big Twitter post poll the other day that's asked how many people have more than one Bitcoin or how many people have less than one Bitcoin. And he got 5,000 or 7,000 votes on the poll, and the overwhelming majority had less than one Bitcoin. So you know, I think like security is extremely important. I am very secure with what I have in my portfolio, and I think everybody should be. And at the same time, I think people need to realize like you don't need to have 5 different ledgers and treasures if you just have like 0.3 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Those are them crypto hipsters. They just want to look cool and sound cool. Right?
Get it for the gram, bro. You got to do it for the gram.
When I first came, because I'm not really a fundamental kind of guy with all of the crypto side yet. So when I first saw the Ledger wallet, I was just like, this is just a USB. Like, to most people, they would not know what the fuck that is.
Totally.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's good. That means I can get through the airport with it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, right. And then I just always, you know, I personally don't have any hardware wallets. Like I said, I use Bread Wallet as in a modified way that acts like a cold storage. But honestly, it just seems like I would lose one of those shits, man. Honestly. I got about 50 million USB drives around here, and I would easily mistake it and give it to somebody and be like, yeah, I got an extra one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that's speaking real hypothetically, but I mean, I just feel like I wouldn't be able to keep up with one of those long term. I feel like if you have one of those, you should put whatever you want to put on it if you have a large amount and put it in your bank safe, right? Or something like that, or put it in the safe inside your house. I wouldn't just have that laying around. So I mean, I don't know. That's just me, but
I agree, bro. And it's like hella ironic that we're all like into crypto and like fuck the banks, and then all of a sudden we're turning around being like, yo, I kind of need to keep my crypto safe. Like, where's the safest place? Probably a bank. To be honest with you.
and that's funny because, you know, I was reading something earlier today, and it was on a different topic, but it was basically saying that the crypto space, we fight for decentralization just to move stuff to or give information to a centralized place.
We're all sellouts.
I was reading something. Yeah, right. I was reading, and that was specific about like the Coinbase and them talking about they wanted to do some kind of like decentralized identity type thing, right? But they were saying like, yeah, that's a cool idea and everything, but you're going to end up just using that information for a centralized entity anyway. So anyway, that's another topic, but that was a good talk on the wallet. So everybody, main idea of that, get you a favorite wallet, store your coins, keep it safe, and don't bitch if you get your coin stolen if you kept it on the exchange, because you already know not to do that. You already know. So look, anyway, so let's go. The next topic we are going to talk about this crucial Ethereum retrace that's been happening. Now Ethereum has been alongside with Bitcoin has been everybody's favorite somewhat stable coin over the years, right? But during the recent bear market, well, I wouldn't even say recent, we've been in this shit for a year, right? But since the end of the year, you know, it peaked out at around 1400, and then retraced all the way back down, and then, you know, went back up again. And now since, what is this? Is that May? Since May, it dropped from 821 all the way back down to around 300, and it even peaked down into the 280s. So that's way more than that's about a 60-70% retrace. So I got a couple of questions for you guys. The first question is, has Ethereum found its bottom? And I know some people hate that type of question, you know, whatever, but we're going to talk about that. Has Ethereum found its bottom? Where do you think it's going to go? And then let's talk about Ethereum's competitors, because, you know, when the landscape first started, it was Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, you know, the big three. But since then, we have so many projects and so many coins with that boast about, you know, scalability and all that stuff and being an Ethereum competitor. And some of these coins seem to really have a more practical use than Ethereum does. So I want to talk to you guys about what some of your favorite competitors that you think would have the chance to take over some of the share of the market that Ethereum holds, right? So who wants to talk about this retrace first? Like, what's been going on?
I'll talk about that, man. That's just crazy wrecked, man.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I usually I was playing a lot of ICOs, you know, back in January, December, and a little bit after that, a little bit before that as well. And you got to realize, like, most of these companies raised like $50 to $100 million, and they raised it all on Ethereum, and then they also raised it all on Ethereum when it was at like $1,400. So, like, I think that, like, my personal opinion is it has to do with like this overuse of Ethereum for ICOs, and then they're panic selling, for lack of a better word, you know, like they're out here who like raising $50 million when Ethereum's $1,400, and now they're seeing it drop to 300, and they're running out of funds to run their companies with, and they probably didn't strategize well. You know, they probably thought they could hold Ethereum up to $3,000 and make even more money. And yeah, so I think the massive sell-off has to do with these ICOs just selling all of it off, and I don't think it's going to stop until all the ICOs are done and clear.
It's crazy that's how every ICO is ran. Like, everyone's on Ethereum, so like you just said, like when they want to, you know, get some money out or whatever, it's Ethereum's price that's going to take the beating for it.
Yeah, but I think
totally.
It's pretty irresponsible, because I mean, you're an ICO and you gathered millions of dollars, but you can't even hire an asset manager to manage the risk. I mean,
Yeah,
it's crazy. They should have done it. I think a lot of ICOs didn't do so. So they just panic sold, and we're seeing the result. Yeah, it's a panic sell off. So, and I think about the bottom, it's not really dependent on Ethereum, but it's more about Bitcoin. If Bitcoin found his bottom, so we can pretty much say for Ethereum too. But if Bitcoin collapses like to 5Ks, around 4.8, I think we can see Ethereum at 200s easily, maybe more. I think, yeah. But yeah, I think 200s is a conservative target if we continue, if we resume the downtrend. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Do you think that we will continue the downtrend, though, Blues? Put you on the spot here.
This is a difficult question. Yeah, so I can say for sure, but I think there is a good possibility we see Bitcoin around 5Ks, like 5K, no more. Maybe if we see a capitulation week, we can touch 4.8, but no more. Because there is a gap. If you see the volume profile and all, there is a gap between 6K and 5K, so it could be filled. But for now, it's pretty bullish. I won't lie to you, it's pretty bullish. So for now, I'm more looking for 7Ks. So yeah, we're pretty bullish for now.
Cool. Crypto verso, man. We'll get to that question because that's a really good question. In terms of competitors to Ethereum, so like, I won't go into any specifics, but the way I see it, and I've had this conversation actually recently. So like you said, right? So we had Bitcoin. Bitcoin came onto the scene, and it changed the world, right? Then all of a sudden we had Ethereum come on, which was more business focused, you know, with smart contracts and things like that, which is great. But the reality is that for industries that have been around for, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, Ethereum is just not going to cut it. Like, it's just not. Like, that's like the first generation of a platform that's focused towards business. But in its current state, I don't see businesses moving across to it. Like, scalability issues, and it doesn't have a lot of the features that traditional businesses need, right? So I think what we look at it like, or the way that I've been explaining it is, you look at Bitcoin as being like a first generation. We look at Ethereum as being like second generation, but then it's these third generation platforms like the, like the Neos and NEM and all that sort of stuff. I think that's where we're going to start to see some mass adoption with industries that have traditionally been stuck with, databases and traditional systems. Exactly. So my personal opinion is, unless Ethereum does something extreme, we're going to see businesses start to come into these third generation platforms.
Yeah, I think right now Ethereum isn't suited for D apps, so it's nice. It's really not, and for secure, and it's not a security, so you cannot create security tokens. So I think, for competitors, you can look out for Rock token, for Poly, in case you're considering for security tokens. And for platforms, we have a lot of coins like Icon for DApps, like Neo. You mentioned Neo too. You mentioned Tezos. Tezos, I didn't see the product yet, but it's pretty hyped. So I think it's good.
That's it. Look, I mean, I don't think Ethereum's going anywhere. I think it will find a place within the ecosystem. But I think anyone that's sort of banking on these major corporations coming across and just moving everything onto the Ethereum network, I don't see that happening. My advice to people is, if you want to look for the next big thing, start looking for these third generation platforms that they cater to these corporations in terms of security, scalability, and the features that they offer as well. If you can find them, I mean, you buy them, you put them onto your ledger, and that's it. You hold them, and that's the sort of stuff that gives you life-changing money, in my opinion.
Yeah. Actually, there's a lot of projects right now. Like I can mention the low caps like Tomo Chain, like Lambden. These are like under 20 millions market cap. So yeah, it could be a good play, but it's risky. With alts, it's always risky. So
that's it.
You should know what you're committing for. So
that's it, right? And that's why, like, I'm not going to tell people what to go look at, just because I mean, as CryptoVerso just said, right? Instead of being called third generation blockchains, they should be renamed to third generation vaporware. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, there are certain platforms out there that are doing the right thing, and I think will be huge. But CryptoVerso is spot on. There's just so much vaporware out there that you really need to do your research and know what you're putting your money into.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. If you guys haven't got anything left on that topic, I want to get into asking Nye a few questions and get that part up, because I know there's a few people wanting to hear him talk. So I mean, first off, I came across Nye back when I think you had like under 1,000 followers or some shit when I first started following you.
Yeah, bro, it's been a minute.
Yeah, dude, I've just been watching you go through this market, and I mean, whilst most people got absolutely crushed, and it really showed in how they started portraying themselves, right? Like, you kept up this positive vibe, and you not only kept up the positive vibe, but you pursued a career within this space by actually getting out on the ground. And it's funny for a guy that's constantly got his face covered, but you're probably the guy that I see at more events. When I say see, like online see, right? So I'm interested, man. Like, tell us your story. How'd you get into this, and what have you been up to the past few months?
Totally, brother. Totally. So I bought my first Bitcoin back in like 2012, 2013 timeframe. I don't even remember exactly like the date of when I bought it, but we were just using it to buy shit online, man. We didn't think of it as, oh, this could go up in value, or this could be something that's actually of value. Like, yeah, I thought the technology was pretty cool. I understood it on a very basic level. Ended up buying some Litecoin and stuff when it first came out, but I didn't take it seriously, So from like 2013 to like 2017, I like was watching it a very little bit, like heard about it, but never really spent time actually trading or being heavily invested in it time wise. And yeah, then 2017 it rolled around, man, and I just decided to go full time with it. Decided to really kick it, to really get it, and my buddy introduced it to me again and was like, "Hey, man, you should check out this Bitcoin crypto thing. It's got there's a lot of tension going on it." So yeah, went full time back then. Did pretty decently for myself in the trading aspect in the beginning, and then I realized that this game is like it's a long term game. You know, I've always played my life previously in kind of like a short term perspective, looking at the next couple months to a year and seeing how it's going to survive and things like that. But when I saw crypto, I realized like I was early on something that has the potential to be life changing and to be massive and not just life changing for me, but to really revolutionize like multiple different industries and revolutionize the way that people do business and things like that. And yeah, so I decided that I wanted to build something, and I still do want to build something that's going to be like a very long-term play that's beyond just trading, that's beyond just making good calls and making good plays. So when I created this I went full time with this Twitter profile back in I think February, and I had like 100 followers and no engagement or something like that. I decided that I really wanted to create content. I really wanted to share my opinion. And so I got online, man, and I just started doing it. And the more I did it and the more I created content, the more people responded to it and really liked it and were intrigued about why the fuck I was wearing a mask. And yeah, it's been really synchronistic. It really worked out well. I'm just super grateful to be here.
Well, I mean, so the content that you're putting out, so I remember every time you put content up, I go through it. The content was, how can I explain it? It was really well put, but it was really easy to understand. And I think because we're in that time frame, you know, like January, February, March, where, you know, we had so many new people into this space. Like in my opinion, the reason why your content took off so fast was because it was content that was relatable to the majority of the people in the market at the time.
Totally, definitely relatable. And the fact, like, really the reason why I went, like, I've been watching on the sidelines on Twitter for a while, you know, specifically crypto Twitter for like 5 or 6 months, really like not engaged, but just being an observer. And I observed a lot of things going on with some of the people who have been in the space and are revered to as like, whatever you want to call them, influencers, creators, just people with big followings, you know. And it got to the point where like I was sitting around and I finally said, you know what, it's time for me to do this. I see ways that can be improved upon, you know. And I think one of the big things is I really enjoy engaging with people, like legitimately, like everything you see on my Twitter, whether it's positive, whether it is like it's a coin that I like it is me. It's who I am, and it's part of like my mentality. And part of that mentality is also like engagement with people, you know. So one of the main things I saw was a lot of the OGs on Twitter, and I got mad respect for every OG. This isn't hate or anything like that, but they just don't respond to people, you know. And there were so many beginners coming in like you said, December, January, February timeframe, and they were all like asking questions, but they never got any answers. No one knew what they were doing. And I might not be like a crazy OG myself, but I do have experience from the things that I've gone through, and I figured that if even if I can like share some of that experience and at least provide someone like a little bit of comfort to be able to like chat with online a little bit, being either up a ton of money or completely wrecked, like I felt like that would be valuable to the space and to people. And I think that's like one of the main reasons why my profile has gone so big is I just like talking to people, you know, like I like engaging with people.
Okay. Awesome stuff. So the past few months, you've been all over the world.
All over the fucking world, man. Yeah, everywhere.
Tell us. So what's going on? Like, I mean, if I had to ask anybody what the current scene looks like on the ground, I mean, you'd be the guy I'd be asking.
Dude, I mean, to be 100% honest with you, it's a completely different scene than crypto Twitter. I think crypto Twitter is relevant, but it's also just a completely different mentality. I've not heard at one point in time, except for maybe during this last big crash, the last couple, like the last week or something like that. I have not heard one time someone ask or talk about or care about what the price of Bitcoin was. Nobody really gives a shit out there, man. And they're at all these conferences. It's about the technology. It's about the teams that are building new products. It's about the innovation, and it's about the long-term play. You know, and I think that's something that not everyone, but a lot of people on crypto Twitter miss is, you know, everybody's looking in these short time frames. They're scalp trading. They're trading the chop. They're getting into the deep trading, the deep trading aspects of things. And I think that's great in one perspective, but at the same time, I think like a lot of people are limited to see like, this is a very long-term play. And I'm talking like 10, 15, 20, even 30 plus years. And you can build something that like outside of trading that's going to be like make you way more money and bring way more excitement to your life than just trading. So that's kind of what's going on in the crypto spaces. There's at these conferences, people are building things, man. People are building things. They're innovative, and they're they continue to create constantly, and it's pretty exciting to be at all of them.
For sure. I mean, that's what I've been saying as well to people, that, you know, the trading aspect of it's going to make you rich if you do it right. There's no denying that. But it's like empires are going to be built off the technology itself and what people build, you know, unrelated to trading. That's not super.
Totally.
Well, I've got a question then. With obviously you're going around to like every meetup and stuff new. Are there any shit coins still out there like putting their projects forward, I guess? Or is it more legit? Yeah.
I mean, it's still a problem, bro. It's a huge problem. I mean, it's still like maybe not 90, maybe like 75% of these projects are shit. And it also depends upon the conferences. You know, some conferences are complete trash, while others are amazing. But yeah, dude, it's still filled in the space. There's so much of that going on, no question. You know, and you know, to touch on a little bit what you're talking about, Satoshi, as well, is like people like they don't give a fuck about how much money you made. You know, to put it very frankly, like nobody gives a fuck if you bought Ethereum at $10 and you rode it all the way up to $1,400 and then you made fucking $10 million. Like literally no one gives a fuck about that. What people care about is, are you building shit that is relevant to the space, that is creative, and is actually going to progress the technology and the advancement of mass adoption forward. And that's really what matters at all these conferences. It really matters when you're meeting the actual businesses and the business people and the minds behind it. And personally, that's why I like being at these conferences so much. There's a lot of innovation.
Sure,
yeah, because we know all of them have invested in crypto. By the way, can you guys hear me right now?
We can hear you now.
Yeah. And I tried to come in at the right time to where it sounds natural, but my shit's been fucking up the last 20 minutes. But we back. We back.
You're Gucci, bro. I hear you, dog.
We reloaded, man. Anyway, so yeah, about this and how you've been around and you just mentioned that you know nobody cares about, you know, what you bought, what at, and how much money you made, because, you know, I'm pretty sure if you're at a conference, then we all know that you made some kind of money, right? So yeah, it's about, and a lot of people talk about like, yeah, I'm here for the tech and all that stuff as a joke, but you know, some people are actually here for the tech, and this is like what they really do. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think,
yeah. I was just gonna say, I mean, exactly, bro. Like, fucking, if you've made $10 million and you're still in the crypto space, like you probably aren't going to be shit posting on Twitter. Like it gets to a point where you've made enough money where you're just like, okay, now what? You know, like, what are you going to do with that money? Like, what are you going to do with the extra time that you have now that you don't have to work a job or whatever the fuck you were doing before you made $10 million?
Exactly.
You know?
And then what's the number one rule of investing in anything? Don't invest anything that you don't invest in anything that you don't know about, right? So if you invest in it, you gotta kind of be there for the tech, right? So
that's why I'm a short-term trader.
Dude, I fucking started crypto and I didn't know, like, jack shit about it, you know, like, and it wasn't about like, I knew the very basics of what blockchain was. I knew the very basics, but I didn't really know it, you know. I didn't like understand the depths of it, especially back in 2012, 2013. And then I started trading, and it was only about making money. You know, that's the only thought that I had was, how can I flip this shit coin for that shit coin, and how can I do it in the right time so that I amass more BTC, and how can I cash out some BTC when I need to cash it out, and have some extra cash in my bank account. Literally the only thought process I was doing for months. But the matter of fact is, the more that I was looking at these projects and the more that I was learning about them, especially when I was doing tons of ICO research, it literally requires me to look at the website. It requires me to study the teams. It requires me to see the concept behind it. And it required me to the point where I was like, oh shit, this is actually pretty fucking interesting. I'm actually starting to understand it more now that I'm like deeper in the space and I'm learning more about it and spending fucking 15 to 18 hours a day trading. And yeah, this is something that I not only want to be a part of in terms of investment wise, but this is something I want to be a part of in like investing my fucking life into. And that's dude, that's the direction I've taken, man. So it's gone hella full force after I went to Asia. I'm actually headed back to Asia in 3 weeks to even do another tour. People are inviting me to go speak on panels and shit like that. And I've got this.
Hopefully you come into that. Hopefully you come into the blockchain conference in World CryptoCon in Vegas, right? You coming to that Halloween?
I'll be there, bro. I'm on a panel. I'm on a panel there, so it's gonna be hella sick. I'm really stoked.
Cool. I'm gonna be there. Hey, the pound is gonna be there too. I'll be there. We're gonna link up. It's gonna be a little party.
Yeah.
So I got a question. I got a question for you. And I don't mean to put you on the spot right here, but I know this is going to be, out of all of the places that you've been to, it's going to be kind of hard to get an answer to this. But out of all the places you've been to, all of the events, out of all of the conferences, whatever, who has been the most interesting person that you met, or what has been the most interesting thing that you heard that you can talk about since you've been doing this? Or what is the most enlightening thing about this space that you heard that really, like, you left the event and you was like, man, that was some real shit right there?
Good question. Real good question.
Or I guess, like, what's been on your mind heavy a lot lately that you've experienced from the past events that you've been to?
Yeah, totally. So there's two things that I want to share. One is a project that just fucking blew my mind, and another. We'll start with the second one. So the second one, I got to South Korea. I got to Seoul, South Korea, and I had no idea, like, really what I was getting myself into. And the more I started to learn about the country, people were starting to tell me, and I got it verified by multiple people, that 1 in 3 businessmen in South Korea own cryptocurrency. And
I heard that South Korea is real bullish on crypto.
Very bullish on crypto. I could literally like be in the club and showing girls like that I own Bitcoin, and they were like, "Oh, we know Bitcoin," and they were like hella into it, like crazy shit like that. And that was really cool because it showed me that like there are places that are much more adopted than the U.S. and Asia's just ahead of the game. You know, I mean, there's part of Asia that obviously isn't, but a lot of Asia is ahead of the game right now. So that was really enlightening. That was making me hella bullish on crypto. Like I was like, okay, like this shit's really legit. I'm really into it. Let's get it. Like obviously we have a lot of shortcomings, obviously have a long way to go still, and there's a lot of shit that we need to fix up, but I'm still fucking bullish on it. And then this AI technology, man, like there's some crazy AI technology. So there's a company called
that you brought that up, like the whole AI thing, because I've been over the last couple of years that I've been in it. Well, over the last year in general, I've seen a lot of AI crypto-based projects, and honestly, I've been stuck trying to figure out, does crypto and AI really need to be together? What are some of your views on that? Like, I know you're about to say it, but
I think it does for like some parts, you know. I don't think it needs to always be together. I think there's a lot of projects that they're just like, yo, we got AI and we got blockchain. Like, cool. You just threw 2 buzzwords together and you're trying to get your fucking shitcoin to pump. We get it. But there are some really cool projects out there that are utilizing blockchain and crypto. And like I shared in a post the other day, like I don't think all utility coins are shit coins. Like I think there is some like utility coins that will actually be used as utility. Have we like fully discovered that, or have we fully actualized that yet? No, not even close. Because I think a lot of people are just shutting down utility tokens now that STOs or security tokens are coming out. But anyways, yeah, like I think that there's some really fucking cool projects that are coming out. There's this one project I met. I won't even name it yet. Fuck it, I'll drop the name. It's called IGO, and it's literally like it's like Amazon. What's her name?
Alexa.
You guys know Alexa? Yeah, Amazon Alexa. Yeah. Only it's super intelligent, like scary intelligent.
So it's just like, the way that it's married with the blockchain is just it stores all of its info on the blockchain. That's the relationship.
Yeah, it stores all of its info on the blockchain so that you can have like complete privacy. It's not owned by anyone and things like that. You know, that's where I think like AI and blockchain can be useful, is because where you store stuff on the blockchain so it's not stored in a database that's owned by someone else, and you have your personal private information stored somewhere else, you know. But yeah, projects like that they blew my mind because they showed me actual demos of these things working. And I was just like, wait, what? This thing just learned all about my life, and it was able to actually interact and have a real conversation with me, and literally plan my entire day for me with ease. Like this shit was like starting toaster ovens and shit, bro. Like it was wild.
Damn, that shit is tight and kind of scary at the same time.
Yeah, it's definitely a little scary, but I think like as long as we like as humans in general use this shit for fucking positive advancement, it's gonna all be good.
Yeah, man, can't let the machines get smarter than the humans, man.
I think they already are, aren't they?
Yeah, right. So you know, we kind of got to get into a little bit of the crypto pop culture type shit, I guess, as what you want to call it. So it's good that we have you on the show, and one of the things that I wanted, and when we posted that we were going to have you on the show, of course, you know, we saw the haters come out, you know what I'm saying? And we saw people, bro. Yeah, we see people talk about you and oh, he shills it. I mean, it's in your fucking name, first of all. So like, I mean, I don't know why they think anyway, but I just wanted to give you a chance to kind of address, you know, anybody who thinks that they may be being misled by you, and kind of just tell them like what your intentions are, and just who, and like how you, and what can they expect to hear and read from you, because I think a lot of people have a misconception about who you are and what you're trying to do. So I just wanted to give you this platform to kind of just clear that up if you wanted to. It don't have to be long, but just, you know, real short.
Totally, brother. Yeah, you know, I definitely misunderstood on many levels. But the matter of fact is, like, I'm just posting things that are me. I'm just doing me, and I'm gonna keep doing me. And whether people like it or not, like, that's their decision, you know. And I'm not necessarily like in a position to say, hey, oh, you need to change, you need to like me, and this is why. Like, I don't really care, man. Like, if there's people listening that really don't like me or really don't like what I put out, then just don't follow me, man.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, look, I don't get why people always talk about this or that or the other when, bro, there's a big ass unfollow button like right by your name.
Exactly.
Like, bro, you don't have to hear from me, anybody.
There's a mute, there's a block button, there's all of it. And I, you know, the matter of fact is, I also like for lack of a better word, like, I got compassion for these people, you know, like I also realize, like, we're in a fucking bear market where some people have lost 90% of their investment, and they're fucking pissed about it, you know? And if they see me going around and traveling and doing all these different things and going to conferences and talking positively online while everybody's wrecked and losing all their money, then, like, yeah, like, there's probably, like, if they don't have the fucking emotional awareness, and most people don't, to manage their own emotions, they're probably going to be hella pissed at me. And use their anger and direct it at me. While I don't agree with that, like, I think that people need to have emotional management and emotional awareness and be able to fucking manage their own emotions as adults and as human beings. Like, that's a perfect reality I'm talking about, and most people can't do that right now.
Exactly. And I just want to talk a little bit about this while this bear market tequila is in me right now. Like, so it seems like, because I know, you know, we got my guy Maine in here, and you know, he gets a lot of flack too, but it seems like crypto Twitter, the people that really try to help people out and provide free content and spends their time doing live videos, answering questions, it seems like those are the people that's the most hated. But the people that the ones that are on here, the ones that are on there bragging and talking shit and talking pointless shit, a lot of people like them. And you know, as a human race, we always cling towards the villain, right? We always cling towards the villain, and everybody likes the person that's starting up shit because we as humans we love drama, right? But I just want to tell y'all, like, hey, y'all gotta stop banging on the people that's trying to help y'all out, like that's genuinely trying to help y'all out. I see people get destroyed on Twitter for trying to simply help people out, like.
Bro, the matter of fact is, bro, like if you aren't hated, then you're not doing anything that's relevant. Like that's the fact. And yeah, like it sucks. It is what it is. But like, to be honest with you, for me, like I just stay so much in my own lane, and I'm always fucking grinding and working on something cool or brainstorming on some. I don't even see it anymore, man, to be honest with you. It's not even in my fucking sphere because I'm so focused in my lane and I'm so targeted on exactly what my goal is, and I fucking see it so clearly and I'm working towards it every single day that it like the haters don't, it's not even in my like world anymore. It's not even in my fucking reality.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
and I don't even want to get too deep on it. I just want to touch on that a little bit and give you the chance, because like, there you go, guys. Y'all got it. Y'all hear what he hear about, and y'all see why he's doing this, and just stop. You know, everybody been in the bear market. Everybody pissed off. Everybody losing money. And, you know, when things were bullish, everybody was in this together, and it was crypto gang till we die type shit. And now everybody just want to start pointing the finger. And you know, that's cool, you know, but you know, let's just stop it and let's get on, and let's just start getting back to giving good content and helping people make this money, because that's what we're about. And if not, then you know, we can take it offline and get the crypto gangsters to pull up. Now I'm just playing. This is a crypto dog pound. We stand on the leash. And with that, we are moving on to the next topic. We are moving on to the next topic. We reloaded. Maine, are you there? You checked in yet? I see you on mute. Okay, yeah, I got Maine right here. So let's move on to the next topic. Oh, excuse me. Somebody wants to say something before we move on?
No,
I think we're good.
Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next topic. We got, now everybody's here. We getting warmed up. We got the alts outlook and the BTC outlook. Maine, did you want to share your screen and just give us a look of what's been happening over this week, if you don't mind, my brother, if you want to?
Yeah, sure. Give me a sec here.
Okay, cool. We always like this segment of the show because not only is he recapping what happened over the last week, but he's also dropping gems, giving everybody some free tips on how to look at price action and how to not lose money.
So yeah, I mean, what up, everyone? Happy to be back. Yeah, all the haters thing, that's so funny, right? And I think a big part of it is people are very emotional with their money. They're tied to it emotionally. They're tied to their crypto holdings, whatever it is. They're tied to it, and they have this emotional bond to this money. That's why most of these people lose money trading, because when they're in a trade and things might not be going their way, they stop thinking logically and they start feeling emotionally. That's where like the term capitulation and depression, that's why that Wall Street cheat sheet is a thing, right? It's people's emotions. And as soon as you can disconnect your money from your emotions, you're going to do a lot better in this space. And that's why there's so much hate online. For the most part, I ignore it. I'm generally just a pretty nice guy to most people. Occasionally I fuck with some people. I go off just because, I don't know, I'm in some type of way. But it's funny. And I don't take any of it seriously, much like CryptoShillNye here was saying. Like, you don't even see it eventually unless you obviously are like going to look for it. But I know what these people are going through. They're emotional as hell. They're upset about what's going on with their money, with their investments. They feel like they're getting screwed. So they lash out. It's very easy to lash out against, big accounts on Twitter with like an anonymous avatar that's posting a bunch of shit and get a bunch of likes. It's like, that's an easy guy to be like, well, fuck this guy, right? Rubbing it in my face. It's like, bro, I lost money too. Like, I've been where you've been. And that kind of mindset, people get trapped in that, and those people are never going to succeed. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but if you find yourself just hating and like shitting on people all the time, that is 100% a reflection of some shit you got going on internally that you need to figure the fuck out, because you're never going to make any money in this space or anywhere with that type of attitude. You're just going to manifest a bunch more bullshit in your life. So that's some life wisdom for y'all. Now let's get into the
real talk. And that's why they need to join places like the Crypto Dog Pound and your amazing free group that you run, Trader Main, and come get some of this knowledge. And the energy that you use hating on motherfuckers, you can use that to go read some books and look at some of these charts and get some of this knowledge, like what my man Main is about to drop right now. So let's look at this outlook, man. I saw your screen and now it just disappeared. So.
Hold on, I gotta make sure I got my do not disturb on. Make sure I don't dox myself here or some shit.
Be careful.
All right. So BTC, I feel like everyone is kind of watching like the same levels. It's funny now, right? On crypto Twitter, we see like everyone's looking at the same levels now, and it's amazing that like people still can't seem to make money, even though everyone's got the same levels on their charts. It's like you just seem to be perfectly wrong every time. So, like the most obvious areas for me on Bitcoin are kind of the same ones everyone's looking at, but I'll kind of give you my thoughts on what's kind of preventing us from going higher as we get like a little bit lower on the low time frame here. So, I mean, we're basically within a like range here on like the 4-hour chart. So for me, I would mark off just this low here and this high here. And we finally, right, we had a deviation below the range, and then we're right back in it. We're finally kind of above this area. And the most obvious area that people are looking at, like once we get through this kind of level that's fucking us up, is 6,800, right? And that was a level we dealt with a ton back here on the way up. And then we had a bounce on the way down. So this level is definitely going to have some interactions. It's not going to just blow right through when we get there. So if you manage to get in a long down here, like this is definitely a good profit-taking area. So for me, I'm personally in a long, and my kind of idea of where I don't want to see the trade go below is like basically right in the middle of here. So to me, Bitcoin's looking good. Like this is clearly looking like this could be a nice little uptrend here. We have like that classic low, a lower low, and then a higher low. Some people like to call that the head and shoulders. But this would be the neckline, right? And we could expect this to break high. So I'm long, as with everyone else, I think, online, which could be a bad sign, but we'll see. I think we got some legs on this yet. And what does that mean for a lot of these like alt pairs that are pumping right now? I mean, everyone knows how the ratio works, right? So be cautious if you got in some of these pumps. Like I think Ripple went crazy, right? Over the last couple of days. I mean, that's insane. That's like a 30% move. Oh,
yeah, the majority of them on Binance have gone up 50% over the last couple of days from their lows.
So whoever remembers my bet with that guy on Venn, I posted that tweet about that.
I remember it.
So-called friend of mine who owes me $10,000. So this guy's now back to talking shit on Facebook to me because Venn has gone up. Well, like I know him like in real life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like he's talking all this smack, and Venn went up 100%, bro. Like I'm back in. I'm like, dude, just remember you had it at when it was Venn and it was 80,000 Satoshi. Like the fact that it went from 100% from here to here does not mean shit when you're down 95% from here to here. Like, that's not how math works. But oh my god, man! So he is insufferable.
So that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the alt bounces that happen once we and me myself personally, I'm having I have a good idea when it's about to happen, because you know it seems like the pattern is that we go through a hard drop, and then we bounce a little bit from that drop, and then we'll retrace a tad bit more, and then it's one more bounce, and then that's when the alt bounces come, right?
Yeah. So usually what will happen is alts will run when BTC is going sideways, right? And that's what we've seen. That's exactly what you kind of just described. BTC was forming a range, and now all of the alts are pumping. But again, still, like everyone needs to have perspective. Like, yes, super sick if you got in Ripple down here and it's up here now. Like, that's a great trade. But like, just remember, like, this is what the chart really looks like. And like, is this really anything different than this? Right? Or this, right? So you always got to zoom out. Like, this candle here is a way bigger bounce candle. Like, this is, I love Ripple because this market cycle looks almost identical to this second one forming here, right? I mean, this is one of the best examples of how markets are pumped and dumped just from like a chart. And to me, it's like this low here could be this.
Hey, somebody, sorry,
Someone's
somebody's echoing in the background. If you can mute that.
I think it's main.
Yeah, if you could just mute it. But yeah, that's go.
There
Continue.
you go. Oh, still echoing.
I still hear it a little bit.
Yeah.
I do too, but
I think that might be you.
Is that it might be
that better?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's my shitty headphones, but so like
Yeah, there we go. It sounds good now. There we go.
This is what I mean by like a market cycle, right? So I mean, always zoom out, always have perspective. Like, these are great little bounces, but just remember, you're buying a fucking massive counter trend. So unless you're like a legit trader, you know, you don't want to be buying this. You actually, if you're an investor, and you're just like, you like Ripple, you don't want to be buying Ripple right now because you saw this little up run. You want Ripple to bleed more so you can get it cheaper. You want to be buying out these down candles, not these little rallies in between.
Okay, so for the people that are not what we would call experienced or good traders, and they see these bounces, like you just mentioned, they was like, yeah, it's cool to get that bounce. It's cool to, you know, get in, get out real quick. But you just mentioned that you might want to wait for it to go a little bit lower. So how would somebody make that decision of like, yeah, I kind of want to wait? Or, you know, how would somebody have a good idea of knowing that possibly, you know, it could go down?
Generally, when they go into a retest, it's normally good. If they break out of the support, the resistance line, then they retest and go, it's normally good. I know in crypto they don't always do that. Like, there's a lot that don't, but that's generally my rule of thumb. Once it breaks out, I'll wait for the retest. If it happens, I'll take the entry. If it doesn't happen, I miss the trade, so I'll just sit out and go to the next one, because there's always another opportunity that's going to arise very soon.
Yeah, like the question first should be like, are you a trader? And if you're a trader, what kind of trader are you? And that's something that people never know. And I don't think really start making good money until they start figuring out what their trading style is. And like, I believe Satoshi Wolf, I always was like, this is what I feel like most people who aren't quite skilled yet in terms of PA and understanding risk and things like that, you should be trading on the highest time frames, because it gives you a lot of time to make decisions. And yes, your stop or whatever, like, price moves in greater distances, but it's way easier to just look at Ripple. And like, if you want to be buying this thing, I mean, this is where you want to buy it, right? In an area like this. So, I mean, obviously if price comes down here on the weekly chart, and this is a pretty safe buy pretty much all the time. That's going to get some sort of balance or reaction from a zone like this. But again, like, you need to know what kind of trader you're in. Are you trying to get into Ripple and then sell it 3 days later, like on a little pump like this? Because that's way different than someone who's just investing in the coin for the next bull run.
Right. That's what we call the hit and quit. You got to hit and quit that.
Exactly. So if you're trying to hit and quit, you need to be on the lower time frames. And what you do is you go to the high time frame like this on the weekly. You see the price is coming down to an area like this, and then you fucking just zoom in and you buy when it gets into the zone. Like, this is a very low risk move here. Just buying when it enters a very high time frame zone like this to at least get like some sort of bounce, right? So if you're trying to hit and quit, like you said, you know, this thing has some room to run. I mean, I wouldn't buy Ripple now. I feel like you missed the good part of the pump, but there's other coins that I think are going to go for a little.
But man, that's a pretty big zone right there. Cause like, let's just say if you go back and look at that zone.
Sorry, here's the
okay.
I'm about
but
to.
Yeah, so if you go back and look at the zone, I think it started at like what 3,000, but then like it peaked all the way down to 25.
So what you're gonna want to start doing is you're gonna want to start looking for bullish market structure to start forming on the lower time frame when you're in a high time frame zone. like we can assume that this weekly zone is like, there should be buying support here, right? So when you come in there, you start going down on lower time frames and you look. So this level, all I did was mark the top of the last bullish candle before, you know, this next day where we went up.
Ah, okay. And so that way you can see that it's still in your zone, and we got a nice little spring right there. So
I have a level that, look, we formed a low, a high, and then a higher low. If I'm a trader, I'm going to say, okay, well, what is my potential risk reward if I think that we're going to make a higher high after this bullish shift on market structure, right? You say, okay, well, if this is going to hold, I can target old highs and I can just put my stop. You guys should fuck with this tool so hard. Like,
bro, I'm getting so turned up right now with what you're showing right now, because this right here is gold right now.
This is exactly how you enter a trade. This is how you determine that if you're wrong, let's say your risk is $100 if you get stopped out. If you're wrong, you lose $100. But if the trade plays out, you get 300. With that type of risk reward, you only have to be right 25% of the time to make money. And these are setups you can find on all of these alts. When you're coming into a high level support, you mark out the area, you go on the lower time frame, you mark out a level, and you look for a bullish shift in market structure on the lower time frame. Because it's going to happen. You're going to see a low and then a higher low form, like a low, a high, a higher low. You're going to see this on the 4 hour before you're going to see it on the daily. On the daily, it's all just one up candle, so you can't see that. That's why you need to zoom in, and you get that, shift even on the hourly. Look, even closer. Sorry, go ahead.
So is your favorite time frame to make that zone? Is it the weekly that you like to make that big zone at, and then you zoom in to like the day and the 4 hour?
So yeah, I'm a swing trader. I'm not like a day trader. I'm very rarely going down to like the 15-minute. I'll usually start on like the weekly or sometimes the 3 days. Since it's crypto, some of these coins don't have, a ton of price history. I'm sure I can't find one now as I'm talking about this, but I'll start at the high time frame. Like, I mean, you can see this is left on drawings from God knows when, right? I did the exact same thing. I marked a weekly level, and then when you came down to it, exactly, I'd start on the weekly, or the 3 day is kind of my high time frame, find the area of interest. And then I zoom into the daily and the 4 hour to kind of see where market structure is shifting. So in this case, I had my high time frame levels here. And then I say, okay, we have a low, a high, and a higher low. So you just buy this, right?
Yeah.
You target old highs. If the uptrend is going to continue, this high has to be broken. And your stop is below the old swing low. Because at the old swing low, if this breaks, it's now a lower low. The uptrend's invalid. 5 to 1, right? Like you take that trade all day, and that's with 2 levels. So it works the exact same. Works the exact same. You make that look real easy. It is.
Yeah, it is.
People make trading so complicated with all these goddamn indicators and like reading all of this shit online. I'm like, literally, go draw a couple. The best traders I see online have a couple of lines on their chart. When I see someone killing it and they only draw a couple of lines on their chart, I know they know what they're doing, because that's all you really need. You don't need any of that other nonsense. Like as I'm showing you here, I know I'm showing you stuff in hindsight, but all of you have seen me post this stuff in advance. This is a very common setup here for Bitcoin. It's the exact same thing I was just showing you. We have a low, a high, and this is potentially a higher low. So you bought this fucking potential higher low, hoping that we make a higher high, because that would be an uptrend, right? And we're near a high time frame level. It's the exact same thing, right? Here's a level on the daily where Bitcoin should have some bullishness, right? It caused this entire move. And we have our yearly lows here. So in terms of what I think going forward for Bitcoin,
what's your short-term strategy right now with the price action right now?
I'm in a long from like 62 something. I bought literally this setup right here. Where can I get my little fucking guy? Where the fuck's the paintbrush go?
Text. Get rid of the text.
Where's Bob Ross?
Yeah. Yeah, so you have a low, right? And then you have a high. And then if this is like an up move, higher low, and then you're expecting a higher high here. So you buy, exact same idea. You buy somewhere around here, and your stop is below this swing low. This is like not the only way that I trade, but I mean, this is a super easy way to look for setups. And it works reverse and short. This is a 2-to-1. Right? You buy it here. This is not even the best entry. You could have, people are bragging about catching in the 6200s. You don't even need to, though. You buy it right in here at a super safe area, and you say, listen, if these lows get blown out, I'm wrong. And at the very least, we're going to get back up to the top of the range, right? That's still a 2-to-1 just to there. So this is the exact trade I'm in, basically. I got in a little lower, but this is basically the long I'm in, and I'm going to take some off above these highs because it could wick and then dump fully. So always pay yourself. But then ultimately, I think this is the next area of interest once these highs get broken.
Yeah, I've got a long at the moment. I've noticed that I'm a short-term trader though, and more of a day trader. So I'm just doing the shorter time frames. I still look on the daily and everything, but yeah, I tried doing swing trading, but it just wasn't for me. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, I'm looking for 6-6 as well.
How confident are you guys in this being bullish sentiment that will go further than the hard 8K drop that we saw a couple of weeks ago? Or do you think that this could be another fake out?
I think we can get to about 7-4. And then, I don't know. I don't think we're going to have the big reversal that some people might think we're having. Like, we're still in a downtrend until we can break out of like 7-7 roughly. Well, then I won't be convinced.
I mean,
just play the price act.
People got to remember that this is like still obviously a huge downtrend. I mean, the conversations on Twitter here, this entire area, were the exact same as they were here, and were the exact same as they were. You've gotta go back and train yourself to like spot this kind of language, because when you see that, that's like the only value I really see in Twitter. Obviously, it's a good marketing tool. I love connecting with people. But for the most part, you should be using it for sentiment. Like, that's why you need to follow some of these accounts, because you'll see the same people every time we're in this kind of a move come out of the woodwork and be like, all right, alt season, Bitcoin, I'm targeting 12K. Like, you guys know who I'm talking about. Talking about several people, who knows? But anyways, I think we're still very much going down. I mean, if we go up from here, remember, we had this much consolidation. 41 bars, that's 41 days before we made this move. We've only been raging here for not even like 2 weeks yet. So people are getting hella impatient. But if we see a move, I'm not even remotely like long-term bullish, but I could be intermediate term bullish if we break some levels here towards this high. Of course, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
But just be aware that like we could do the exact same thing that we did before, right? Like, everyone thought we were going to take out this high when we were coming towards 8,500, right?
Yeah, and I think that's something too. Like, if anybody has any of those type of feelings to where they're not comfortable trading until we break that, well, just chill the fuck out until we break that, bro.
I mean, listen, like,
until we break. I mean, do you guys agree?
We never broke this level. We never even closed inside this area, right? But everyone thought on this 3-day span here of this candle, thought we were going to 10K because we were trading above 8,500 for a couple of days. So you got to always zoom out.
That looks like the ultimate fake out now.
Oh, look at this. We're fucking getting some live movement here. I think we might pop through right now, man, by the time this podcast is over. So everyone listening should just go market buy right now.
You see what the crypto dog pound off the chain does? We start talking about
not
this.
A part of that.
We just Trader Main starts doing the analysis. And then he said, I'm not a part of that. He just
This is not financial advice.
The CryptoShillNye brand is not associated with these comments.
Yeah. I'm actually not associated with these comments either. I'm just making.
ain't nobody associated with these comments. We don't even know what we're talking about right now.
Bro, let me jump in here real quick. I think you made a really good point there that I want to like just expand on. Is like, You said if you don't feel comfortable trading at these levels, then just don't do it. And I think that's super super important to touch on for people. Is like while all this technical analysis is fucking hella cool and really important to making good trades and things like that, people also got to realize like a lot of people that are trading right now are not traders. And if we're going to get into like BitMEX and shit, like 95% of the people that I see on Twitter should not be using BitMEX. And they are, and they're getting wrecked because they're trying to make a fuck ton of money in a bear season, and find a way to do that. And yes, that's just a little point that I wanted to throw out is like if like people need to just like chill the fuck out, sit back and just wait for confirmation if they're not traders, and it would save them a lot more money, and they'd probably rack up a decent amount of Bitcoin in seasons where we're a little bit more bullish.
Yeah, and to that exact point, like most of you guys, not most of you guys, but a lot of people out there listening, like Bitcoin in the 6,000s is a gift right now. If you're just thinking long term, like if you plan on being in this for 5 years, which you at least should be, this is cheap Bitcoin right now, in my opinion. So if you don't know how to trade, you can't be asked with learning how to trade. You don't want to fucking know. Like a long-term investment, $6,000 Bitcoin is fucking cheap, in my opinion.
Yeah, and to touch on that, I think people were happy to buy when it was 15,000, and people buying when it was 19,000. So obviously we're being in a downtrend now, and everyone wants to get a cheaper price. But I remember when it was going up, when I first looked at it, I think Bitcoin was at 2,000. I'm like, right, I'm going to wait till it comes down to 1,000. I'm going to buy some. And then it goes to 3,000. I was like, oh yeah, cool. I'm going to wait for 2,000. I did buy some at 3, but you know my point. And I kept like, yeah, no, it's going to come back down that $1,000, and you know that's my entry. But you know, you jump online and oh shit, it's back up another $1,000.
Yeah, I think if
people are all thinking Bitcoin's going to come down at this level here, like this 4,800 level. It does not have to, like at all. So a lot of people are going to get fucked. Like, and the same thing happened, you know, in previous bull runs. Everyone was waiting for this perfect entry, and then it just never came. And then you get left behind, and you're doing exactly that. You wanted to buy at 1,000, right? Like, how many people thought they were going to buy back down here after this bull run?
Yeah,
they're like, oh, I'll get $100 Bitcoin. Well, you never got it, right? Fucking gangbusters. So anyway, zoom out, perspective. I think Bitcoin's cheap right now if you're just trying to get in for the long term, but short term, looking good.
Yeah, and there you have it. There is the outlook, alts, Bitcoin, advice, charts, all of that stuff in one on a Friday night. So we are past the 1 hour 15 minute mark, and you know we try to keep it to between an hour and a half. So at the end of the show, we like to have a little bit of fun, right? And the topic that we talked about before the show, I think it would be a nice fun topic while we have all you guys here and while we have our special guest CryptoShillNye here, is we want to talk about what, since you started trading in the crypto verse, what has been your biggest fuck up in this trading, right? I think I'll start it and kick it off, and I'm gonna go down the road. I'm gonna go down the road. I think my biggest fuck up. What was it? Oh, my biggest fuck up. I'm gonna let y'all know. All right, so I got into Dragon Chain ICO, and I had got and we had put a nice amount in there. And I was a noob trader, and that was actually my first ICO that I ever got into. I forgot why I got into it. I think I got various input from Belina. You know, I talked to Belina at that time. That's when he wasn't who he was now, and he was answering my questions and everything. I know, weird, right? Anyway, it was a combination of him and Bitcoin Bravado that kind of led me to Dragon. And after I did some research, I was just like, you know what? Why not? I told some of my people that I invest with to do it, and we got in there, and bro, we made a lot of fucking money, and we didn't actually cash it out. And I sat there and watched it go from 5 something all the way back down to like 1 something, bro. Didn't do shit. That was my biggest Bitcoin fuck up or crypto fuck up, because we watched all that money melt away. And even though we did take profits, it wasn't as much as we could have took. And sometimes when I think about it, I still get sick, but lesson learned for sure.
Probably mine was when I first kind of came into it. I before December, I bought a lot of coins, and yeah, I made some profit, but God, I missed out on a lot. I had XVG, RDD, Doge. I had all of these shit coins just ready to go, and I sold for like 20% profits and stuff. I was like, yeah, you know, I'm killing it. And then like a day or two later, 10x and shit like that, and I was like, I got to stop over trading. And then
yeah, that's one. Blues, what about you? What's been your biggest mistake?
Actually, my biggest mistake remains Kenya coin. The shit like retraced 99%. I'm not even kidding, man. Yeah, I think 99%. It was I don't even know why I bought it. I think at one moment I was so euphoric. I just looked at it like for 20 minutes, 14 minutes. I said, yeah, it'll be a good buy. and it never went up. It only went down. And I waited. I didn't have a stop loss, so yeah. I let it go to 90. Yeah, I was in drawdown like 97%. So
have you taken profit now?
Yeah, I took profit.
He took profits now. What about you now? What's oh, my fault, Blues. My fault.
I know. I'm done.
No, you're done. Okay, so Canyon coin. Mine was Dragon. Clay he had a bunch of odds and they saw him melt away. Nah, what about you, man?
Podcoin, man. Podcoin.
Podcoin, man. You know what? All those weed coins, where have they been? They were the big hype some months ago or towards the beginning of the year.
I got hella wrecked when I was a noob, like beginning trading. You know, when I was a beginning trader, like the first like 2 months that I was trading, I didn't have a strategy at all. I didn't even know what it meant to build a strategy. You know, so I was literally like, I had a very, very, very large portion of my portfolio going into every trade, and I'm talking over 50% of my portfolio going into every trade. And there was one point where I was following Palm Beach Confidential calls, you know, because I was like, yo, fuck it. Like, I'm trying to, yeah, man, I was playing the short-term game. I wanted to get rich quick. And then I quickly learned that wasn't the way to do it. But yeah, good old Tika called Potcoin one day, and I jumped in when it was like 40% up, 50% up. And I was like, oh, I got this. Like, this is no problem. It pumped to like 2x, 2.5x. And was super stoked, tried to sell it, but Bittrex was frozen because everybody was trying to ride that pump, you know. And dumped right on me.
Bro, that's crazy.
Bro, dumped right on me, and I sold the very fucking bottom of it. I swear, I didn't even wait for the bounce. I sold the very fucking bottom, lost like 70% of my portfolio in one trade. And that was wreck city, man. That was wreck city.
Man, don't worry, bro. We gonna pull up on Tika, bro. We gonna pull up on him and be like, hey, bro, you owe us some money.
Dude, better watch this back, Tika.
All right, what about you, man? And everybody sees you as somewhat invincible on these charts, but I know that you have a fuck up that you got.
Bro, my fuck up is not even chart related. I had a lot of Bitcoins in the first bull run because I like got in early. And I think I had like maybe 50 Bitcoins at one point. So like, I don't know if I said this on here before, but like I quit my job and shit. I was like, yo, I'm a day trader now, mom. Like I was like, moved down and shit. And like, obviously the market turned and like shit started like kind of going sideways for me. But like right around the time the market was peaking, I had all these Bitcoins. I found a site called Just Dice. And it's basically like dice or some shit. Like, you know, me, hella stone, like not even fucking paying attention. Like, you know, I'm racking up like martingale away fucking multiple Bitcoins on this fucking site. So I don't even want to know how many actual coins at when they were worth like $600. I just fucking gambled away on this site, but that'd be my biggest fuck up because I'm thinking it's close to like 50, 60 grand at these prices.
Damn, bro. Yeah, man. So hey, there you got it. There you have it. The fuck ups of the dog pound of the dogs. And the good thing, and you know what? This is all funny and everything, but the good thing about this is we actually remember and can admit this stuff because that's what it's all about, right? You got the problem or you made the mistake, but You got to remember and you got to learn from it and admit that you fucked up. Because if you don't ever admit that you fucked up, you might be you might be willing to, you might put yourself in a position to do it again. So realize your fuck ups, write them down, put them on your bathroom mirror so you know not to do that shit ever again. Keep that picture of Tika right on your mirror.
Mate, I don't
like,
have
nah,
to. I don't have to put a picture up. I just look in the mirror and I just see
Hell
disappointment.
no, bro.
Hey, smoke the pot.
Yeah.
Don't buy the popcorn. Smoke the pot. Don't get wrecked from it. All right, guys. So hey, appreciate you, Nye, for coming on this, taking time out of your busy traveling schedule. I know you're there in Vegas, and I know it's getting around that turn up time. We don't want to hold you too much. There you go. We have it once again. We have I'm Blockchain Dane. We got Blues. We got Clay. We got Wolf. Nye, Trader Main. This was Friday night. Thank you guys for listening. Crypto Dog Pound presents episode 3, Off the Chain, and meet up with tune in next time. We're gonna have probably another guest like that. He was a really good guest.
That dog's way too loud, dude.
Hey, they need to know that the dog's coming. So until next time, guys, we will see you later.
There, fellas.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Okay.